What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be about the Alabama 2019 returning player class and who I think is going to make the biggest impact. So you guys hang around. Alright guys, so Alabama returns an excellent 2019 class. They have a lot of players coming back, and a lot of those guys are big playmakers. There's a couple of guys on there's quite a few guys on defense and quite a few guys on offense. I'm going to go through who I think the number 10 through number 1 players are going to be. This is my opinion, what I think. This isn't necessarily what you think or whoever you guys think is going to be the best. This is who I think is going to be the best. So we'll see how it kind of turns out. I'm going to start out with the offensive line, and that guy's going to be Alex Leatherwood. Last year he was all SEC second team. This guy's a dominant force on the offensive line, and I look for him to be a big leader this coming up year. Then I want to jump over to, and some people have this guy ranked way higher, but for me, I think that this guy is going to be an impact player, and it's Shyheim Carter. 43 tackles last year, 2.5 tackles for loss and 2 interceptions. This guy's a playmaker. He's all over the field. This guy can move. He's very, very fast. And when you consider, and you'll see here as we get into some of the other players, the fact that anybody is able to garner 40 or 50 tackles throughout a season, with the talent that's stacked around him on defense, it's really, really impressive. It's just, here we go. The next spot is, and you'll see what I mean, Anfernee Jennings. 50 tackles, 13 tackles for loss last year, 5.5 sacks. This guy is a linebacker like you wouldn't believe. He's going to be back this year. You can look for him to be a leader on that defense. Just a very impressive player. The next guy I want to talk about is Raekwon Davis. Raekwon Davis last year had 55 tackles, and he only had about 2 tackles for loss, but the year before he had 8.5. So last year was kind of an odd year for him, but I think this year you're going to see that number go to maybe 3, 4, or even 5. I wouldn't be surprised if it jumps up around 8. If he has a breakout year again, this guy would have a phenomenal year. So Raekwon Davis having to compete against these other guys, it's not that these guys can't get a tackle for loss. It's that somebody else is usually getting there before they do. There's that much talent. So you really have to respect a guy like that. I'm going to jump over to a defensive back that I think was a key player last year for Alabama, and that's Xavier McKinney. 74 tackles with 6 tackles for loss and 2 interceptions. When you couple him, and he's a defensive back, by the way, not a linebacker. He's a defensive back. So if you couple that with Shyheim Carter, 43 tackles and 2 interceptions, these guys are always looking to pick off the ball. They have great vision, and they're going to keep moving around the field, making it difficult for any quarterback. So as you notice, these numbers keep going up and up and up and up. So between just these 4 players, you're talking almost 225 tackles between 4 players. Just these 4. Now let me jump over to the real stud on defense, and that's Dylan Moses. This guy has lightning fast speed. If you throw that ball and he sees it leave your hand, he's en route immediately. He recognizes what's going on the field. He makes great breaks on the ball. This guy has 86 tackles with 10 tackles for loss and 3.5 sacks. You give this guy an opportunity to get in the backfield, he's going to be there. He's going to meet a running back. He's going to meet a quarterback. He's going to meet a tight end in the backfield, and he's going to tackle him. That's pretty much all there is to it. So between these 3 guys, you're basically looking at 300 tackles. I mean, it's a ton of stats just between those 5 players. If you're playing against Alabama, it's not that you're playing against a really talented coaching system, which you are. you're also playing against highly talented players. Even if you were to plug in pretty much any other player into this Alabama defense, they're going to do good, but unless they have the vision and then they can see what's going on, they're not going to have the kind of success these guys are having. All right, so let's jump over to the offense a little bit. Let's talk about a running back here, and it's Najee Harris. Now, Najee Harris last year had a little over 780 yards, averaging almost 7 yards a carry, and he has 4 touchdowns. And he was splitting carries last year. That's saying something. It would not surprise me that if this guy doesn't become the #1 running back for Alabama, you're going to see this guy just clobber people. He's had an opportunity to put on some weight, put on some size. So coming up in this year, he's really going to be a dominant force. And if you don't account for that, they're going to run all over you. Now, I don't think that's the way their offense is going to be built, but I think if you give them an opportunity to do so, if you can't stop the run, they're just going to run over you. So Najee Harris is most likely going to be the go-to guy. Now, I'm going to get some rub here because, well, I'm just going to get some rub. It's just the way it's going to be. This is my opinion on who I think the number 3 player is at Alabama. Hey, if you made it this far, go ahead and hit like and subscribe and thumbs up. Really appreciate you guys watching the video. If you guys have another team that you'd like to see me cover, the top 10 players of any other team, I'd be glad to do that for you. Leave it down in the comment section and let me know who you guys think the impact players are going to be for your team this year. I think it's Tua. I think that one of the things that makes Tua look so good is the fact that he has such outstanding receivers. For instance, if I was throwing a ball to Jerry Rice, and if you don't know who Jerry Rice is, go watch videos of Jerry Rice. If you don't know who Jerry Rice is, this acronym's not going to make any sense, but whatever. If you threw the ball anywhere near Jerry Rice, he caught it. Simple as that. If you threw it in his zip code, he caught it. And I think that's really kind of the story with Tua and the 2 returning wide receivers that we're looking at right now. Tua last year had almost 4,000 yards, great. 43 touchdowns, outstanding. 69% completion ratio, awesome. And 6 interceptions, okay. Not bad numbers at all. Certainly not bad numbers. And you can argue better than a lot of other quarterbacks out there, no doubt about it. And there's people that's putting Tua in the running for the Heisman. Perfect. But unless you have receivers that can catch, this does you no good. Which is why I have him where he's at. Now, there's not a big margin between these top 3 players, in my opinion, but there's certainly to me, the receiver is the differentiating factor here. The wide receiver coming back for the #2 spot, in my opinion, is Henry Ruggs III. This guy, and here's why. If you throw the ball to Henry Ruggs and he catches it, your average per catch is 16 yards. If that doesn't terrify you as a defensive as a team that's playing these guys and you're on defense, something's wrong with you. He averages 16 yards a catch. Basically, anytime they throw him the ball, it's a 1st down and a half. You got to account for that guy. And that's not just, he caught the ball 16 yards from the quarterback. No, he gets open, he catches the ball, and he goes 4, 5, 6 yards upfield every time. So you got to be on top of this guy. He accounted for 11 touchdowns last year. 11 touchdowns last year. That's huge. Got to account for that guy. So you can look for Henry Ruggs III to be on one side of the field, and then you're going to look to see this guy, and most of you guys, if you're Alabama fans, you already know who I'm going to say. It's Jerry Jeudy. This guy is a machine. You throw the ball anywhere in anywhere in the state that he's in, if that ball is thrown for him, he catches it. 1,315 yards. That's about 30% of the yards that Tua has. 30%. 1 out of every 3 passes goes to Jerry Jeudy. Why, you might ask? I don't know. Maybe because he gets a ridiculous and absurd number of 19.3 yards per catch. Yep, nearly 2 first downs every time you throw the ball. So if you couple in the fact that you got a running back that can get you 6.5 to 7 yards per carry, you have one receiver that can get you 16 yards per catch, and another one that can get you 19 yards per catch. It's not that hard to look like an awesome quarterback. Granted, you got to be able to put the ball where you need to put it. He does a good job of that. But these guys absolutely can catch. Oh, by the way, Jerry Jeudy, 14 touchdowns last year. 14. Incredible. So this is my top. These are my top returning guys. If I'm a defensive coach and I'm looking at these guys and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to build my defense to stop these guys, I think I'm really going to have to lean heavily on my secondary and hope these guys can keep Ruggs and keep Jeudy covered up. Because if they can't, that's going to be a bad day. And it's going to get bad in a hurry. I mean, if you figure that if you get the ball on the 40-yard line, you make one pass to Jerry Jeudy, you're now on the other side of the field at the 44-yard line. You make another pass to Henry Ruggs. Excuse me, you would be on the 41-yard line. And then you make another pass to Henry Ruggs. That's another 16 yards. Now you're on the 25-yard line in 2 plays. You can certainly kick a field goal, but, well, Alabama struggles with that sometimes. But I think they're going to get that fixed. But I mean, that's the kind of impact that these players have. So when you're playing a team that can't play fast catch-up football, if you're playing a team that's not explosive, if you're playing a team that doesn't have great defense, it does not take Alabama long to get out in front. Now, it seems that there's been some games where Alabama has struggled in the first half. I think that this year that's probably not going to be the case. I think that you're going to see a little bit more of a steady grind than you saw before. But you can't really argue with the ends that they've gained so far. The ends justify the means, or the means justify the ends, or whatever acronym you want to throw out there. But it's really a case of where Alabama is going to continue to put amazing players in place. And keep in mind that when you have an offense that can do this, and then you turn the ball over on defense, and then just the players that I've mentioned, and there's other phenomenal players on Alabama's defense, when you see those players come out there on that field, and you're like, man, he just scored a touchdown, we got to go out here and score, and then you hit a brick wall, that becomes a problem. And then you couple all of that with Nick Saban and his coaching staff's ability to make adjustments. The fact that anybody can even compete with them is impressive. Whether it's Clemson, whether it's Georgia, whether it's Florida, whether it's LSU, Auburn, whoever it is. If you can get out on that field and compete with Alabama, you better pat yourself on the back, because that's an accomplishment. All right, guys. That's all I got for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, comment section. Tell me who you guys would like for me to see on the next video. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day. God bless. Go Dogs.